In this video, I'm going to show you how you can mix different skin tones. So I've got my palette and it's got all of my colors. For me personally, I have images of different skin tones I'm going to attempt to match. For you, you'll be matching your own skin tone or the skin tone of your subject. So you either have yourself or you have some photos of your subject to help you. So every skin tone is really, really unique, but there are a few places in general we can start. So I'm going to start here in the upper left. Now this skin tone is fairly dark and it's a pretty warm, rich skin tone. So I know I'm going to need some red in there for warmth. So I'm just going to turn to a open section on my palette. I'll put in some red, but obviously the skin tone isn't red, so I'm going to want to add the complement to really dull it down. So I'm going to take a swipe of blue and a slightly larger swipe of yellow to get some green in there. And then I'm going to mix and see what I get and adjust accordingly. So this is looking pretty purple to me already, which means that we need to add the complement, which is yellow. So I'm going to grab a fairly big swipe of yellow, mix it in there. All right, this is looking a little bit closer. Actually, I think that's a bit dull now, so I think I want it to look warmer. I'm going to go with a little bit more red. And I'm mixing. And I want to do a comparison. Okay, so I think I need some more yellow in here to get that color closer. I know it's very hard to see with my camera. Get a little bit closer. I'm going to try some more yellow and see what happens. Remember, when you mix, you need to try and keep your paint in a puddle. Don't keep spreading it out further and further. Keep it all in one place. Okay. Compare again. It's a little closer. I go in with a dab of blue to dull it down a bit more. I feel pretty close. Now what I'm going to do is, because this skin tone in particular is so dark, I'm going to grab the tiniest dab of black and mix it in. Maybe a smidge more. And I also think I want some more red, because it's getting a little too cool for what I'm going for here. Looking okay. I think it needs more yellow now. You see, this is really what mixing a skin tone is all about. You have to keep adjusting and adjusting and adjusting until you get it right. More yellow. One more black. I'm to go orange this time, so yellow plus red, just because the black makes it so dull, and I still want it to be warm. So that's why I'm trying to offset the black with some orange. This is all trial and error, you can see. It takes a while to get there. Sometimes I do find it helpful to just put a little dab on the picture, or even on your hand if you're trying to match your own, just to see where you're at. And I know it's really hard for you guys to tell because the contrast on this camera is not good, but it still looks a little bit purple to me, but I don't think it needs to get much darker. So I'm gonna go in, add some more yellow and a little bit of red as well, just to keep it warm. I might do another little dab, see where I'm at. Now that's actually looking pretty good. I still think it could use more yellow. That. Mix in. So the thing about yellow is it tends to lighten a color, and I don't want it to get much lighter. So I might need to add more black after this, which might lead to me adding more red. This is all about striking a balance. You learn to balance over time. Another little dab. Yeah, the yellow did make it kind of too light. So I'll go in some black, not a lot. Mix it in there. Yeah, that still feels a little bit too light. So I'm going to do more black. And I'll set the black with a little bit of red to keep it warm. And it's a little bit purple, so I'm going to finish off with just a little bit more yellow. Just warm it up a bit. Alright, that's, I think, about as close as I'm going to be able to get. I'll swatch it onto some paper for you. So just so you can get a better view of what this color is. Alright, so that's a dark skin tone. I can still, add some shadow to it, so that parts of it are in shadow. You've got a gradient in the shadows, like that. I could also go in with a bit of white and start to add in some highlights. Like so. Alright, next I'm going to do the lower left, kind of a middle skin tone. So I'm just going to clean my brush off real quick. Wipe it dry. Alright, so So for the middle skin tone, I think this time I want to start with, it's pretty warm, but I'm going to want to start with a kind of a yellow-orange, I think. So yellow and red. Mix that together. And I've decided to start with the yellow-orange just because this skin tone is a bit more olive complexioned. So I think a yellow-orange will be a nice beginning. Alright, then to dull it down, because obviously no one looks like this, I'm going to grab some blue. So that's a compliment. Remember, a little blue goes a long way. See, that was already too much. Now it's just green. So I'm going to go in with some red, since red's a complement of green. Okay, that's looking a bit better. Now, if I compare this to the picture, I think I'm in the right zone here, tone-wise, but I know I'm going to need to make it lighter. So I'm going to go in with a bit of white, blend it in, just lighten it up a bit. And I'm going to do a mix. And compare. I might even do a little dot now. Actually, that is pretty close already, which is exciting. So I just consider what it needs. I think it's still a little bit too warm, a little bit too orangey. So I'm going to go in with the tiniest bit more blue. Dab. A little mix. Now honestly, I might add a little bit more white because I think it could stand to be just one shade lighter. And test again. Notice I'm not testing in the highlights, I'm trying to test in like the middle values. Alright, that looks a lot better. Just trying to get a handle on it here. You know what? That's a little bit orange. I think it could use just a little bit of red in there. Might have been too much red, but we'll see. We'll see. The good thing about skin tone is you're going to need a fair amount of it, so mixing a lot is not that big a deal. Ah, there we go. That actually looks pretty perfect to me. See, it's in the hand here and here on the forehead. That actually looks really, really good. So I will swatch it. Like that. And I can make it darker for shadows. Or I could grab some white and give it some highlights. Next up, got a lighter skin tone to do. So I'm going to clean my brush. Wipe it clean. Alright. So for light skin tones, I generally start with more red, more of like a peachy sort of color. I put in red. More yellow, but this is going to be more of a red-orange. Maybe a little bit more yellow. Alright, it's a pretty good red-orange. And I'm obviously going to need to dull it down, so I grab some blue. That was probably too much blue. Yeah, that was too much blue. I'm always over eager with my blue. So I'll put in some more red, orange. Mix it all up. Alright. Obviously, that's way too dark for this particular skin tone. So I'll grab some white. See where we're at. Alright, so we are very pink. And this guy right here, Mr. Vince Vaughn, is this picture, is not so pink. Yeah, so we're gonna need more white because that's looking a little dark still. And I also think we're gonna need some green because that's a complement of pink or of red. So a tiny dab of blue and some yellow. And we blend. And we test again. Alright, that looks a lot better. I think I just want a little bit more yellow. Try. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Maybe just a little bit of white to finish it off, because I still think he needs to be slightly whiter. Now, part of the issue I'm having matching the value is the lighting in the photographs. So he has kind of a lot of direct lighting on his face. So you can see his face, like, color changes from moment to moment. So I'm just trying to get something relatively close. You know, like, clearly his jawline is not a similar color at all. Alright, a little bit more white and then we'll say that we're done. Oh, there we go. I think I got it. Okay. So, I'll swatch it on my paper. Like this. And then, obviously, again, a little bit of black for some shadow. And if I want some white, here it is, for some highlights. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, 3 skin tones all were fairly accurate to the photo that I used, but they look so different. So don't be bothered if the skin tone you paint is nothing like the skin tone that your neighbor paints, because we have so much variety of color in the human race. That's all I have for you.